Wow, I'm really hot and sweating. Ugh. Yeah, so what I really want to talk about is why epilepsy is the center of the rescheduling debate. Why should anything be at the center of the reclassification if what everyone wants to do is just get high? And that's because that's not what everyone wants to do. In 1937, it was made illegal, but before that, it was used industrial to make hemp, to make paper, rope. It was smoked. It was put in medicines, uh, and and the guy who discovered who hypothesized that taking Indian hemp uh, in regular doses could help control seizures. He was like, he was a doctor. He was an Irish doctor, and he existed, and it was used in America for this purpose. And when it was made illegal in 1937, it was banned for this purpose, despite a despite protests from the American Medical Association. So it was made illegal, though, with a racist smear campaign. Now, what a racist smear campaign means is that a lot of the things that people said about marijuana were not true, and they tied it to Mexicans, entertainers, and Black people, and said that use of it would cause interracial sex and demoralize your children by making them want to befriend other people. And this is true of other drugs as well. For instance, psilocybin, which is also being talked about rescheduling, was used by Native Americans to enter the spirit world or something. And in a sacred ritual, and ganja too is considered sacred in like Hinduism and Buddhism, and white people probably think that's way cooler than any of the people who are actually Native American or Hindu or Buddhist, but it still means that their reasons for banning the drug have to do with religious discrimination and not with a scientific worry about public health. And the argument that cannabis is an anticonvulsant drug, when people with seizure disorders are commonly put on drugs, is an argument. It just completely invalidates the argument that cannabis is a danger to public health. It means that it could help children with seizure disorders, and epilepsy is a very dangerous condition to have. I've had it since the 7th grade, and so what they're saying is that they don't care if you fall and bite your tongue and your muscles hurt. They don't. They're making this illegal because they hate Black people. And that is historical, truthful information from 1937. If you defend the prohibition of cannabis, that is what you defend. The abuse of handicapped people, and what over time became a police takeover and a police state. Is anyone going to be able to stand up to these people? I don't know. I am simply watching like the rest of you, wondering what will happen. But I know I am fed up with newspeak. I want someone who actually has real things to say to be able to speak and not just be a sycophant for the federal government to put forth its ideas that that they're complete, that they can just continue to lie about this, that because the civil rights movement, it's not like they were just like, oh well, I guess we won, now that the civil rights movement is going to continue, and the civil rights movement isn't done because drug reform hasn't happened. And so there are people doing much greater things than I could ever do that I'm clueless as to know what to do. I don't want to hurt anyone or carry a gun, I'm just a creative person, I get picked on a lot because of my handicap, and it's stupid because people shouldn't freak out about it, but as much as they do. But the government doesn't help me. It doesn't help me when they make cannabis illegal. They harm me. And I believe this to be true. I think that if, like cannabis is on a plane and you think you're going to have a seizure, you should be able to smoke that cannabis. There is no way that and when they're trying to distract you by saying that it is just a for fun thing, but it is a for fun thing, obviously, but billions of people being arrested for marijuana use a day is not fun. And so and I think that everybody in America disagrees with that, because marijuana use is just going to get more and more popular, and it's in our music and in our videos, and it's part of our life. And why epilepsy should be at the center of the rescheduling is because epilepsy is legitimately medical. Like it wasn't like just it wasn't just some guy with going to trying to get high in California saying, oh, my arm hurts. And that's what they're all going to say, that that there is no legitimate medical complaint, that somehow maybe people in medicine were in cahoots, but there's no reason to be like legitimately, and that's not true. It was legitimately deprived from people who might need it if it's an anticonvulsant, and it could legitimately help children if it's an anticonvulsant. And the fact that it isn't approved for use for treatment of epilepsy is a crime, because you can't, because it's unscientific. It's not illegal for a scientific reason. And so, like, I'm not sure what's happening, but I know more than you about buying drugs over and over and over again because I have had epilepsy since the 7th grade, and it is a total bummer. And it ruined my life. And why should they get to say, we don't care that you even have this disease. We want you to feel pain. Just like we want white supremacy to exist in America.